Hello, my name is Peter Klapper from the School of Biosciences at the University of Kent in Canterbury, and in this video clip I want to show how to use Google Forms and Flubaroo for feedback to large student cohorts. While video and audio feedback can be very useful tools when we are dealing with smaller cohorts of students, it is quite time consuming to set up this feedback, and therefore for larger cohorts of students or for giving very frequently feedback, they are not that particularly useful. So I was therefore looking for ways how to make feedback more efficient so that I can give very often feedback to large cohorts. And I found Google Forms very useful because they offer a number of very nice features. So for example, I set up weekly homework in the form of multiple choice assessments. They are formative assessments, and obviously they are voluntary at the moment. But I make it clear to the students that it is in their best interest to do these assessments. So the students have a week to complete this assessment. So it's a basic multiple choice test. It asks for the names, and here come the questions. The students then hopefully do it correctly and press the submit button. Now, as soon as the student submits their hopefully correct answers, the reply is then written into a spreadsheet. And with this spreadsheet, I can see the submission time, I see the name of it, and I can see all the answers that the students have submitted. Even better, Google has a scripting language, and there are a number of scripts already available from a library, amongst which is a script called Flubaroo. This here. This is an automatic grading script. So I can very easily grade a large number of scripts, and the result that I get from this grading is shown here. So for example, I see in a summary form that 156 students have submitted. I would have expected a few more, so not everybody submitted it. I can also see that students had a problem with 2 questions. So this now gives me the opportunity to really look into these questions and discuss them in class, so the next time the students actually would understand better what they are supposed to do. It also gives me a very nice overview of the students. So for example, got the name of the student, I see how well they scored, and it gives me a percentage. It also highlights students. So for example, this student here who scored below an expected threshold. This also allows me to give some general feedback to the students. So here this is an optional feedback column. So for students who did very well, I can give them praise. I can say looks good, well done. Or for students who struggle, I can invite them to additional booster sessions. And I can then also look at what happened, what is the mark distribution in this test. So Flubaroo gives me a grading report, so I can look at how students in general performed. I can also give that to the student so that they get an idea of where they stand within the cohort of students. So I see that quite a number of students scored very well. So it's a nice distribution, and that shows me that most students in a way got it. But I also see a tail and one particular student who is struggling badly. Now, very clearly, this indicates that I need to deal more with the student and address the student, give them additional support, etc., etc. This is not all. I now can email the students with their individual results. And this is also done automatically by the program. So this is, for example, what a student would receive. So this student here did not do particularly well. They received 5 out of 20, which is basically statistical background. And very clearly this indicates that the student has problems with this concept. I can provide some generic feedback here. So, for example, I can include a link to an EduCreations video that I prepared in advance of this feedback, this email, where it shows a step-by-step procedure how the student should address the question. The student is addressed, your first name. Well, actually the program does that. And the student gets a visual feedback on how well they did. So green is correct. The student had a few correct answers. But then comes a long list of incorrect answers. And that indicates to me, I get this email as well, this indicates to me areas where I need to work with the student. Now, because this is automatic, the grading and also the emailing to the student, I can give frequently feedback. As I said, I give homework every week that the students do in their own time, and it shows me actually where are the stumbling blocks. So I can very, very quickly intervene if I see that a student has persistent problems. And this makes this kind of feedback, although it is automated, makes it extremely powerful for the learning, because I see where the students stand, I see which concepts I need to reinforce in the lecture, and it also shows the student where they actually struggle and where they should ask for more support. Now, very clearly, I was a little bit disappointed in the submission rates. Usually it's between 75 and 85%, which is quite nice, but I would like this to go up. So in future, what I want to see is whether I can engage the students more into submission of assessment, and I'm thinking of trying out components of gamification. So, for example, I would like to set up assessments that the students sort of almost play a game. So we could have leaderboards, we could have badges, we could have wins, and also students should be encouraged to fail because, as I said earlier, by mistakes we learn, and that is very powerful.